My dear listener, allow me to take you on a journey into the most powerful and mysterious organ of the human body, the brain. It is no larger than two clenched fists, yet it holds within it the memories of your entire life. Every laugh you've ever shared, every face you've ever seen, every lesson you've ever learned, each is carefully woven into delicate networks of billions of neurons, whispering to one another through electrical sparks. And yet, despite its strength, this remarkable organ can be quietly weakened by the very habits we perform each day, without even thinking about them. Today, I want to share with you truths that I have learned as a doctor who has spent years studying how memory works, how it fades, and how we can protect it. What you are about to hear is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. Because the truth is simple. Your memory, your clarity, your ability to recall names, faces, and moments is not only shaped by age, it is shaped by choice. And the habits you allow into your daily life can either guard your memory like a fortress or slowly, silently erode it like water dripping against stone. So let us begin calmly and carefully with the first silent thief of memory, one that many of us underestimate: poor sleep. Sleep, the brain's nightly gardener. Sleep, you see, is not simply a state of rest. It is a nightly ritual of renewal. When you drift into deep sleep, your brain does something extraordinary. Tiny fluid channels open up, washing away the waste products that build up between brain cells during the day. It is as though a silent gardener walks through the garden of your mind, clearing away debris so that new flowers of memory may bloom. Without this cleansing, toxins remain, crowding out clarity, creating fog and leaving behind confusion. Think of the times you have pulled an all-nighter, or the days you cut your sleep short to meet a deadline. The next day, wasn't your mind sluggish, your recall dull, your concentration fragile? That is because without sleep, memories are not stored properly. In fact, research shows that sleep is when short-term memories are transferred into long-term storage. Without it, those memories simply vanish like writing in sand swept away by waves. Chronic lack of sleep, night after night, does more than make you tired. It increases your risk of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Yet many people still treat sleep as optional, as though it were wasted time. My dear friend, let me assure you, sleep is not a luxury. It is medicine for your memory. Guard it with the same seriousness with which you guard your health. Now let us turn to another hidden enemy, one found not in your bed, but on your plate. Sugar, the sweet poison to memory. Sugar in small amounts is harmless. In fact, the brain itself uses glucose as its primary fuel. But when the modern diet floods your body with excess sugar through sodas, candies, pastries, and processed snacks, the very fuel that once nourished your mind begins to corrode it. Inside your brain sits the hippocampus, a small seahorse-shaped structure that acts like the memory librarian, carefully filing away new information. When sugar levels remain too high, inflammation and damage strike the hippocampus. This is why people with poorly controlled blood sugar often complain of brain fog and forgetfulness. Over years, this constant attack can shrink the very areas of the brain that form new memories. Imagine walking into a room to recall a name or trying to remember why you entered in the first place. These little lapses, when frequent, are not always a sign of age. They can be the echoes of sugar's toll. So the next time you reach for that sweetened beverage or sugary dessert, pause for a moment. Ask yourself not only what it may do to your waistline, but what it may do to your mind. A sharp memory requires balanced fuel, not an overload of sweetness. But sugar is not the only silent habit that works against memory. Sometimes the enemy is not in what we eat, but in how we divide our attention. Multitasking, the illusion of efficiency. In today's fast-paced world, multitasking is praised as a skill. We boast about answering emails while talking on the phone, about scrolling through news while watching television, about living in constant connection with multiple screens. But here is the truth your brain wishes you knew. Multitasking is not a strength, it is a trap. The human brain is designed to focus deeply on one task at a time. When you try to do many things at once, your attention jumps rapidly from one task to another. Each time it jumps, the thread of memory weakens. What you are left with is not strong, lasting recall, but shallow fragments that easily slip away. This is why multitaskers often feel scattered. They cannot remember what they just read, what they just said, or where they placed their keys. Their brains are constantly in a state of partial focus, never allowing memories to anchor deeply. If you want your memory to be sharp, give it the gift of focus. Do one thing at a time, and do it with presence. That is how memory is strengthened. And now, let us move from the desk to the body itself. Because another habit that weakens memory is not always visible. It is the absence of movement, inactivity, starving the brain of life. Your brain is an organ that thrives on blood flow. Every heartbeat carries oxygen and nutrients that fuel its endless work. When the body moves, when you walk, stretch, or exercise, the brain receives a surge of circulation that wakes up neurons and strengthens connections. Physical activity also releases chemicals that protect and grow brain cells, almost like fertilizer for the garden of your memory. But when life becomes sedentary, when hours are spent sitting without movement, that rich flow is diminished. The brain receives less nourishment, less stimulation, less energy. Over time, the pathways of memory weaken. This is why studies show that even light physical activity, like a 20-minute walk, can significantly improve memory and focus. It does not matter your age, movement benefits everyone. Think of it not as exercise for the body, but as exercise for the brain. Because the truth is this: a body in motion keeps the brain alive. Yet there is one more enemy to memory, perhaps the most insidious of all. It is not in your diet, not in your sleep, not in your chair. It is in your emotions. Stress, the invisible memory killer. Stress is unavoidable. Life brings with it challenges, responsibilities, losses, and deadlines. But when stress becomes chronic, when it lingers day after day, it leaves scars on the brain. The hormone cortisol, released during stress, is useful in small amounts, but in constant floods, it begins to shrink the hippocampus, the very center of memory. This is why people under chronic stress often complain of forgetfulness, of walking into a room and forgetting why, of losing track of conversations, of feeling mentally foggy. Stress not only robs you of peace, it robs you of memory. But here is the good news. The brain is resilient. With simple practices like deep breathing, meditation, prayer, mindfulness, or even just taking quiet walks in nature, stress can be lowered and the brain can recover. Protecting your memory begins with protecting your peace. A final reflection. And so, my friend, we return to the beginning. The brain, the keeper of your stories, the guardian of your identity, the recorder of your life, is fragile and strong all at once. It does not demand perfection from you. It does not ask for complicated rituals or impossible routines. It only asks for care. Sleep so your brain may cleanse itself. Eat wisely so it may be nourished. Focus deeply so it may remember. Move often so it may thrive. Relax gently so it may heal. These are not grand changes, they are everyday choices. But it is these very choices that decide whether your memory will serve you faithfully into the years ahead, or whether it will quietly fade. So as you leave this moment, take with you this truth. You have the power to shape your memory. Every day in every habit, you are either protecting your brain or weakening it. Choose wisely, choose gently, choose with love. For your memory is the most precious library you will ever own. And if this message touched you, share it with someone you love. Because protecting memory is not only a gift to yourself, it is a gift to everyone who treasures you. For more videos, subscribe my channel.